When we talk about artificial intelligence controlling lethal weapons, the debate usually centers on a universal kill switch, a failsafe to shut down a machine if it goes rogue. But that assumes global powers agree on who should hold that switch. Right now, they do not. Humans are fragile, and deploying them to the front lines is expensive. To keep personnel out of the line of fire, militaries are pulling soldiers back from the edge of combat and replacing them with autonomous systems. This chart visualizes exactly how fast that transition is happening. In the Ukrainian theater, uncrewed systems now conduct roughly 80% of all strike missions. At times, the deployment of cheap autonomous drones has reached an extreme ratio of 24-1 compared to traditional cruise and ballistic missiles. Look at the logistics. A drone swarm costs a fraction of a fighter jet, and using them removes the need for a 150 aircraft rescue mission like the one launched to recover an F-15 crew over Iran in 2026. Lethal decision-making is rapidly moving away from the airframe. It now lives within the software that commands it. To understand why this algorithmic war machine is already locked into place, we have to examine the 5 distinct pillars of the modern kill chain. Pillar 1 is mass production. To counter the sheer size of rival militaries, the Pentagon launched the Replicator initiative, a mandate to field thousands of autonomous systems across multiple domains in just 18 to 24 months. This diagram illustrates a notorious defense industry bottleneck, known as the Valley of Death. It is the precarious phase where promising new prototypes run out of funding and stall out before they can reach scaled production. To cross this gap, defense officials didn't wait for new multi-year congressional budgets. They simply reprogrammed existing funds from underperforming accounts, injecting capital directly into autonomous drone programs exactly when they needed it to scale. By hacking their own budget cycle, the military guarantees these systems will proliferate in massive numbers, far faster than regulatory policies can adapt. Pillar 2 is the orchestration layer. Defense companies are taking 2 distinct approaches to software architecture. Anduril builds a vertically integrated, closed-loop system called Lattice. Shield AI takes a horizontal approach with Hivemind, a hardware-agnostic digital brain designed to pilot any third-party aircraft. In a recent test, an experimental combat aircraft called the Fury actually swapped between Shield AI and Anduril software in the middle of a flight, executing combat maneuvers with both systems on the exact same airframe. That seamless transition relies on a government standard known as AGRA, which stands for Autonomy Government Reference Architecture. It effectively turns artificial intelligence into a universal plug-and-play operating system. Treating an AI pilot as an interchangeable software download permanently separates the physical weapon from its digital brain. This means militaries can upgrade and scale autonomous capabilities instantly across thousands of vehicles at once. Pillar 3 is the acceleration of the kill chain. Battlefield strategy relies on the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. Whoever completes that loop first wins the engagement. Artificial intelligence compresses that entire decision cycle into milliseconds. We can see this speed in action in Gaza. By parsing vast amounts of surveillance data, AI target generation systems like Lavender and Gospel flagged over 37,000 potential targets in a matter of days. This volume of data compressed human review windows down to an average of just 20 seconds per target. Military doctrine classifies control in 3 stages: a human in the loop, directly pulling the trigger, a human on the loop, passively supervising, and a human out of the loop, where the machine makes decisions entirely alone. While 20 seconds is fast for a person, it is still too slow to stop an incoming saturation attack or a hypersonic missile. In high-tempo environments, military necessity shifts humans out of the loop entirely, because waiting for any manual authorization becomes a fatal liability. That loss of control brings us to Pillar 4, the escalation hazard. Removing human soldiers from the front lines creates a moral hazard. Because a drone strike incurs no risk of casualties for the attacking force, political leaders face far fewer barriers to initiating aggressive action. This introduces a massive attribution problem. If an autonomous platform suffers a software failure and strikes an unintended target, the opposing nation has no way to distinguish a glitch from a deliberate first strike. We have clear historical proof of how fatal these interface errors can be. In 1988, the automated Aegis radar system aboard the USS Vincennes erroneously identified an Iranian civilian airliner as an attacking fighter jet. The crew trusted the machine, fired, and killed 290 passengers. Now layer in modern cyber vulnerabilities and adversarial swarm algorithms that are specifically designed to coordinate and overwhelm defensive networks without external communication. Algorithmic warfare strips away the brief diplomatic window usually required to de-escalate a crisis. A single misclassified pixel can trigger a retaliatory loop before human commanders even realize a conflict has begun. The fifth and final pillar is the accountability collapse. International humanitarian law requires commanders to balance direct military advantage against the risk of civilian casualties. It is a legal framework built entirely on human judgment and empathy. Under the Rome Statute, prosecuting a war crime at the International Criminal Court requires proving criminal intent. But an algorithm cannot form intent. When a black box deep learning model commits a violation, the legal system cannot easily pin the blame on the original software engineer, the manufacturer, or the commander who ordered the deployment. When lethal responsibility is dispersed across a massive technological supply chain, no single individual is held legally liable. If everyone is responsible, no one is. Developers attempt to mitigate these dangers with technical safeguards. They program hard-coded geofences to restrict where drones can fly, and continuous heartbeat protocols that force a system to self-destruct if it loses contact with its operator. But geopolitical competition overrides these safety features. China, for example, maintains a policy of strategic ambiguity, proposing narrow definitions of banned weapons to ensure its own swarm technologies remain legal. Meanwhile, during disarmament negotiations in Geneva, major powers like the United States and Russia actively block binding global treaties, refusing to surrender tactical flexibility. We possess the technical ability to program a kill switch into every autonomous weapon we manufacture. The real issue is whether nations, locked in a race for algorithmic speed, will ever actually agree to press it. What do you think happens when the speed of code outpaces the speed of diplomacy? Let us know in the comments below.